How did it rise?
I still have that log. I need to figure out
They renovated it?
Yeah, because remember that it burned down?
Yeah.
So the building burned down in 2013, Christmas 2013. This used to be the Wah Mee Club. Yeah, this was it right here. So basically what used to be here was like in February 19th, 1983, Kwame Mak, Tony Ng, and Benjamin Ng, they basically, like, this place had been like a gambling joint for decades, since the 20s. So people would come here, cops knew about it, everybody knew about it. They would come in there and they would make bets anywhere from $1,000 to $50,000. You're talking about, it went all the way up to the 1980s. So $50,000 bets back then were crazy. There used to be, back then, there used to be a door here, and it had, you know, those glass bricks that people use in their 1980s showers and shit like that. There used to be a stack of them in the window, and one of them was clear. And when you could actually, the clear one was when the guard used to be able to look to see who was out here, and then you would ring a bell, and he'd let you in. So those three perpetrators, because they kind of frequented the place, they were only like between 19, 18, and 21 years old. Those three guys I was talking about. They came in here and they were just basically gonna rob the place. So Benjamin Ng and Tony Ng, Willie Mock and Benjamin Ng, they went in there. Tony was kind of a lookout, and so what it turned into was they were robbing the place, and a lot of people were trying to get into the club. So what turned into, we're just going to rob like 7 or 8 people in here, turned into 13 people or 14 people are in here. What do we do now? So since Tony Ng is doing the lookout, he wasn't out here. Benjamin Ng and Kwame Mak end up, we got to kill these people. So they end up, for some reason, they're like, we got to shoot these people. For some reason, they shoot 14 people, and then they leave, not knowing that one of them they didn't kill. So then it was kind of weird because they killed the security guard. One of the guys, somebody trying to get in, steal the club, was like, how come no one's answering the door? And the survivor stumbles out the door, and he's like, he ended up like right here, and was like, he was able to ID all 3 of them. They get caught within like 72 hours, the first 2, Willie Mock and Benjamin Ng. Tony Ng goes to Canada. He was basically the lookout. They end up catching him like a year later. So he's out. The other two guys are still in jail ever since then. This is like, they spent most of their lifetime, because they were only like 21 when this happened. And this is one of the biggest massacres. 13 people died. And then the last survivor, I think they just passed away in the mid-90s. The person who stumbled out here. So this was a whole crazy story. If you ever look at the read stories about the Wah Mee, the whole hotel has an interesting story. Up until 2013, there was a fire on Christmas morning. So that's what ended up why they had to renovate this whole building. There used to be a cool restaurant on the other side of this called Sea Garden that I love to go to. That's why I know when that happens. So yeah, this is what happened. If you had seen the old doorway and how it used to look, you'd be, oh, okay, this was basically, you could tell it was a little speakeasy. Cool. So we go. This is the first stop, and then we go down to where the Mery Ping. Go down the Mery Ping. This is a couple blocks down the street. Oh yeah.
You did that?
No, you did. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Son, that's what you're talking about. That's what.
I know. I was like, the first time I ever met him, I was like, you showed up. I heard it's a big thing.
Four firefighters, Greg Shoemaker, Walter Kilgore, Randall Terlicker, and James Brown. They were all firefighters. They got killed. This is the site of the worst fire, like as far as Seattle Fire Department death in Seattle. So on that morning, the warehouse was set on fire. And the weird thing was the building has been there since like 1908, and it was owned by Mery, who was this, she owned like a restaurant and made Chow in Seattle, who had a lot of Chinese restaurants here, and they had an idea, let's do frozen foods. So she ended up needing a warehouse, which was right there, and then so she would store her foods in the warehouse. She had a child, but then she also adopted a child from Hong Kong. So the child's name was Martin Pang. Martin Pang, it was a warehouse with a basement in it. So Martin Pang, in the 80s, he was kind of like, there was nothing, the building was old. They had other warehouses where they kept a lot of their food and stuff like that. So basically Martin was always like, hey, let's just sell this building. He was that kid, you know, we need to just fucking cash out on this. And she was like, what are you talking about? They like the space. So the only thing, when the Seattle Fire Department inspects stuff, they thought it was a one-story building. So the crazy thing is they didn't have it down as a two-story building with a basement. And the key was, it was a one-story warehouse, but in the basement there was over like 4,000 pounds of cardboard. And Martin Pang used to keep his race car gas in the basement. So when they got the call, they go in there and they're like, they thought the fire had started from an outer wall. So the firefighters were on this level, and what happened was 4 of them. This is the early years of the transponders that they had. The floor just fell right in, and they ended up falling into the basement that was already engulfed in flames. So all 4 of them ended up dying. One of them had just gotten married and had like a 1.5-year-old kid. They do have a memorial in Pioneer Square. If you ever see it, it's the 4 firefighters. It's of them.
Oh, they did that after 9/11.
Yeah, Occidental Park.
It was the 9/11 thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, no, it wasn't 9/11. Yeah, it was for these guys. And the crazy thing about Martin Pang was he jetted. He fucking went to Mexico. Then he went to Brazil, thinking the extradition, that they couldn't extradite him. So they ended up extraditing him. Brazil's like, here you go. You know, it took like a year. So yeah, but then he ended up getting, I think he ended up getting life, but then he's actually, he ended up getting life. He's out now, but he wasn't a model citizen, so he actually in prison, he conspired with this other guy to steal IDs. And they're like, hey, let's steal IDs. Yeah, this is crazy. Let's steal IDs, and then we can funnel money into this account I have in Brazil. So when I get out of jail, so then basically the authorities found out about that shit, and they're like, dude, you just lost 76 days of that you served. You're gonna get 76 more days of this bullshit. So then eventually he does his time, gets out like 2018, 2019. But then he basically petitions to change his name. So the weird thing is, like, he wants to change his name, but they're like, okay, you can change your name, but you gotta face these people, these firefighters' relatives, if you want to change your name at your hearing. So his ass wasn't even courageous enough to face them. So he said, fuck it, I don't want to change my name. So basically, the dude did, he got for 4 counts of manslaughter, he got 35 years, and he's already out now. So that's pretty crazy, but that's the story of the Mery Pang warehouse. Weird.
What does he do now?
Who knows?
Wait, and why did they set it up? Why was the fire set? Money?
He wanted insurance. He wanted the insurance. And the fact, what really got him busted was, he kind of mentioned to his ex-wife the month before he did it, you know what, we should burn that place down. So she, being his ex-wife, it kind of was a thing. She ends up calling the insurance guy, and he's like, wait a minute. So they were actually set up in December of '94 for like, wait a minute, somebody might set this place on fire, but it didn't happen. So then they just kind of backed off, and then a couple weeks later, the place catches on fire. So he was kind of already guilty before they already knew how it happened before the shit started. Yeah.
Wives, man. Ex-wives.
He's a hero, actually. No, he was shit. You guys ready to ride? We're going to go to the gas station.